has spoken to me a number of times. No, he knows my views on extremism and terrorism.
You're a shady guy, Adnan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, let people know me.
James demonstrates the only appropriate response to seeing him come at you with a ring binder is to run and hide.
Why? Let's move to a
The Sahaba took slaves in jihad, and so we're going to do the same thing. Would you think that's wrong?
Can I ask you to not discuss this?
No, please don't slander me, Adnan.
No, I'm not slandering.
Well, you are slandering me.
Because what he does...
What's going on here? I'll best find out what's going on. To the White Cave! The source of Adnan's sour attitude towards James came a few weeks earlier when James accused him of associating with radical Islamists.
Adnan Rashid supported this terrorist recruiter. Abdullah Faisal is a terrorist recruiter. He has been found guilty of inciting murder, and since after finishing his sentence he has continued to recruit for ISIS. And yet Adnan Rashid was at his sermons and was telling the Muslims in the crowd, we must support the brother. It is very good to receive his knowledge.
Just another quick note from the lawyers. Views expressed at Speaker's Corner and those included in this presentation are opinions based on referenced events which are also documented in this work. So here's James's opinion. You lot can form your own. Citing video evidence available on YouTube, James attempted to quiz Adnan on his support for Abdullah Al-Faisal.
I'm here to do one thing. First ask him, why did he support Abdullah Faisal?
Okay, let him
if he lies, then I will tell people to search the evidence and see that he is lying.
A radical Islamic preacher, Abdullah Al-Faisal was sentenced to 9 years in prison for soliciting murder and stirring up racial hatred in 2003. The conviction came after tapes of his lectures were discovered in a raid on the home of a rapist and torturer. Faisal has inspired numerous terrorists and has been charged by the US for recruiting for ISIS. He is currently fighting extradition to the US. Having pointed people in the direction of YouTube, James described what he believed to be Adnan's support for a convicted hate preacher.
Okay, all you need to do is go onto YouTube, look at the evidence yourself, look at Abdullah Faisal, search Abdullah Faisal, Adnan Rashid, and watch the video.
For the seventh time! For the seventh time!
No, don't interrupt me. Somebody give me a pen. And then, all you need to do is that you'll hear distinctly Adnan Rashid's voice.
One of our brothers is on trial. The kuffar are attacking him left, right, and center, and we're watching. Make dua for the brother. Make dua for the brother. May Allah protect him. What about yourself? What about yourself? So my request to brothers and sisters is to support Sheikh Faisal as much as they can by any means necessary, inshallah ta'ala. There is nothing more important than this. Because we're here to listen to his lecture, we should at least give this much of time to the court as well.
And you will also hear someone at the end of the lecture calling out to the person who's just spoken and saying, "Hey Adnan,"
hey Adnan,
okay?
you there?
And so about what Adnan Rashid has just said, okay? If I'm a liar, then everyone can check whether or not I'm a liar. My evidence is on YouTube right now.
Adnan's defence largely consisted of attacking James personally.
You ought to do better.
Okay. Tell people.
The problem
to
is
look
this
at
guy
the
is mentally not okay. It's clear that he cannot have a conversation.
Are you a retard? I'm serious about it. No. Are you actually a retard? What these individuals, people like James and others like him, Islam haters, Islamophobes.
Yeah, probably best not to use slurs invented by the Muslim Brotherhood if you're trying to make out you're not an extremist. Adnan furiously denied being present on the stage with Faisal and suggested the footage had been doctored.
The video you're referring to is not me in the video. You cannot see me in the video. There is a voice which is clearly tempered. Anyone with two brain cells, firstly, in that video I cannot be seen. It's a very cheap job done by you or someone else or Steve or I don't know. I don't know where the video came from. There is some dodgy footage. There is sound that sounds like me. That sounds like me. The video, when you watch it, is clearly edited. It's patchwork. Yeah. It is not clear that it's me. Number one, I'm not in the footage,
Check
and I
yourselves.
refuse to accept that it's my voice. The sound actually, it sounds like radio.
And just in case you weren't buying that, he also came up with an excuse.
Now, having said all of that, this is my response. Even if it was me, even, it's a big if. Suppose. Hilarious.
In 2003, by the way, when I was, how old was I? 25. I had only been practicing for 2 years. I became a practicing Muslim in 2001. It was in 2001 when I started praying. And even then, I had little knowledge of Islam. Little knowledge. I didn't read any books. I had no idea. And in 2003, I had little awareness what Islam is. Even if it's me. Even if it's me in the footage. First of all, it's not clear it's me. I cannot be seen in the footage. I'm saying here categorically, it doesn't sound like me. It's not my voice. But even if it happened to be me, I knew little about Islam. I was only a child, a baby in Islam.
After taking concierge, Adnan would turn the row into an issue of legality.
Now,
Okay.
I want to finish.
Have you given this information to the authorities?
You want to keep
Have you given this information to the authorities? I am a British citizen. I live in London. Have you given this information to the police?
It is anything but criminal. I'll tell you why.
I'm claiming you have a moral failing.
It's my turn.
I'm
It's
claiming
my
you
turn.
have a moral
Look,
failing,
look,
not a criminal
can we have a
failing.
civilized discussion?
Because
I
you
know
supported
atheism.
a terrorist,
I know,
and so I'm claiming that's a moral failing of you.
After everyone had made up their minds whether the video was really Adnan, it was. The debate would move on to the wider issue of Islam's treatment of others according to the text, and its refusal to accept those outside of Islam as equal before the law.
He also supports hatred towards non-Muslims.
You think
that's
yourself? I do.
Yes,
Claim
yes. I'll show it.
He just made a statement. I support hatred against non-Muslims.
Yes, because this is part of your Salafi
What are you going to
creed.
read?
First of all, not greeting non-Muslims in the road
Again, he's not going
and pushing them to the narrowest part. Abu Huraira reported Allah's messenger as saying, "Do not greet the Jews and Christians before they greet you. And when you meet any one of them on the road, force him to go to the narrowest part of it." Now, is that a hateful message against non-Muslims?
Yeah.
I would say it is. Do you denounce this as a hateful conduct being advised towards non-Muslims?
Not in the state of war, no.
Yeah, exactly. No, this isn't about the state of war.
Okay, wait.
It's in the street, not a battlefield.
Wait.
It says when you meet them in the roads.
I'm going to demonstrate from this example how hateful and bigoted you are towards Islam and Muslims. This hadith was put out by the Prophet in a state of war when the Jewish tribes were in a state of war with the Muslims. This is not the normative position, but I don't want to waste my time with a psychopath like you who doesn't understand our faith.
You said this was not normative practice. However, all you need to do to prove that this is false is to go to any book of Islamic jurisprudence. Okay? They quote this hadith about how you are meant to treat dhimmis. And there you will clearly see, without any kind of exacerbating context, not saying only in times of war, just saying when these people are living amongst you, do not greet the Jews and the Christians before they greet you, and when you meet any one of them in the road, force him to go to the narrowest part of it. Okay, so this claim that this only applies for times of war is debunked, because Islamic scholars in history have taken this as how to treat them just in general in times of non-war.
Again, Adnan's counter-arguments relied on accusing James of being a Tommy Robinson fanboy and being paid as part of the so-called Islamophobia industry.
People like this have an agenda. Him, Steve, and there are other individuals in the park. I believe they are paid. They are paid by someone to come and throw bad light on Islam. As I said earlier, he is a hateful bigot. So it is clear that people like James are either completely mentally retarded. So James is clearly a bigot, a hater of Islam. So ladies and gentlemen, it is clear that James has been exposed thoroughly as a Islam hater, Islamophobe. It's all about defending Tommy Robinson.
Because a posh accent and a ring binder just screams Tommy Robinson supporter. Two things to learn here. Firstly, if James comes at you with a ring binder in the park, best to make a hard left and run away. Secondly, if you're younger and used to hang out with some wrong-uns, it's best to come as clean as possible, as quickly as possible. Otherwise, we might assume that you're still a bit of a wrong'un. The row between James and Adnan would go on into the night until eventually even the camera had to make its way home.
Out. If it's as if I would be saying, George Bush actually said, we will go after Muslims and we will smoke them out from everywhere they are. This is how it is. Thank you very much for the information.